Hi, everyone. Today I was playing with this idea that, we have all of this attention on the coronavirus right now. And what's been fascinating to me is watching how people are reacting or responding to that. And I have another video on the difference between reacting and responding. So if you haven't watched that yet, go back and watch that. But anyway, coming from that whole thing, I've been like really fascinating to see how people are, responding to this or reacting. And I want to call it the coronavirus of the mind. We have a new pandemic on hand, and it is called the coronavirus of the mind. And just like we have precautions against spreading the coronavirus, I also want to give you precautions against the coronavirus of the mind, okay? So I think we need to first start in understanding what fear is. And I would say that's the main symptom of this coronavirus of the mind, fear and scarcity, mostly. But the actual definition of fear is to anticipate evil and like our response to that in an anticipation of evil. And I just recently heard this other definition of the word hope, which is the anticipation of God's goodness. So I want to give you a little hope before we start on the precautionary work here. But just like some of our precautions against spreading coronavirus is like social distancing and washing our hands a million times a day and just being careful and touching our face. I want to give you guys precautions against the coronavirus of the mind. So, number one, stop excessive use of media. If you are one of those people who needs information, or at least are telling yourself that you need information and more information, really limit it, because you're getting a steady diet of an industry that feeds off of fear and panic, which is the media industry. And that's okay. They have the right to do that. They can do that. This is a free world. This is a free country. They can do that. But you can choose whether or not you partake in it. And it really limits. This is like going around and shaking hands with everyone and hugging everyone right now. It's just precautionary. Just limit the amount of especially excessive use of media and news coverage. Please just limit it. Don't do it any more than an hour a day. And this includes podcasts, news, newspaper, articles about it. Like, I think a lot of people think that if they know more about it, they can somehow prevent it. And the truth is, like, okay, maybe that's the case. Like, if you're a scientist and you're trying to find the actual, antidote. I always say that word wrong. Antidote for it. You do need more information. But since the coronavirus has come out, all of the information has stayed the same. And, if you need actual information of how to prevent this, go to the CDC website. That's probably all you need to do. But I think a lot of people are kind of indulging in this fear and this panic, and it's only hurting us. I'm not saying this from a judgmental standpoint, but it's really only hurting you, because it's spinning. We're not supposed to be in a constant state of fear, by the way. Fear is great when it gets us out of harm's way. Any other time, it's constant. That is unhealthy, and we are not supposed to be living there. Okay? It's not living in God's goodness. Okay. Number two, stop looking to others to determine how you are going to think, feel, and act. I think this is huge. Just the other day, I was going through this. I was kind of like, I feel calm right now, and I feel like I should be more panicked and afraid. And I remember I was doing thought work on it, and I was kind of like, is this right? Like, should I be this calm right now? Should I be this peaceful, considering what's going on? Like, I chose to pray for everyone who's struggling with this. And this is no way of really toning down what is happening. But I realized no, I actually am choosing calming thoughts and peaceful thoughts. I'm choosing to focus on God's goodness right now. And that is that's what's happening in my body. I'm actually feeling, emotions of calm and God's goodness and peace. And I'm okay with that. And I want everyone else to be very deliberate about it and be aware if you're going to other people to tell you how to think, feel, and act about this, that is, you are giving away your emotional responsibility. We actually call that in the coaching world, it's a form of emotional childhood, because it's like, tell me how to be right now. And no, we are adults. We get to choose how to think, feel, and act about this. And I choose calm. I also choose deliberate. And I choose to be of help and of service and contribution to others. And I can't do that from a place of panic. So that's the second one. Beware of scarcity thinking. This, oh my goodness, people, right? Like, have you been to the grocery store? Everybody's in scarcity. They're all like, quick, we gotta get everything. And I'm not saying go and like get bulk items. I sent my husband out yesterday. I said, we need to go grocery shopping and I need you to get a lot, because we don't know what's coming up in the future. We don't know how long we need to be in this place of like bunkering down mode or hunkering down. I don't know what word that is, but you know what I mean. We don't we need to be smart about it, but also be aware of scarcity thinking. And what I mean by that, scarcity thinking is there's not enough. I mean, just look at the toilet paper aisle. There's not enough, right? But scarcity, just like abundance, all starts in the mind. And everyone's like, wait, hold on. I know what you guys are thinking. You're probably like, but there isn't enough toilet paper out there, right? Chances are you probably know someone who could spare you a square or spare you a roll. So I don't know, there might not be any out in the store, but you could probably barter with people. There's a way of figuring this out. So start to slow down the scarcity thinking. That's huge. And just be aware of it. Start to be aware of it. Even if you're just curious about it, like, I wonder if this is coming from a place of scarcity. Because our Lord is not a scarce God. He is not. He created everything and he's created an abundance of it. So just be aware of that. Okay, understand the difference between opinions and facts. This is big when you're doing research on this, when you're actually going out and getting information. Just, always consider the source and always just know what an opinion is and what a fact is. Guys, we have this beautiful, beautiful brain that is it's absolutely superb. And we have this ability to critically think. And I think right now, we need it more than ever. And we need to critically think and know the differences between opinions and facts. Another thing is to know, this is big, to know that worrying just pretends to be important. I think we so often say if I worry about this, it'll change it somehow. But it doesn't. It can't change it. You can't change things through change other circumstances outside of you through worrying about it. It only steals your peace. And I love this quote. It's it definitely pretends to be important, but it's not. It steals your peace and it doesn't change anything besides just losing your peace. Yeah. And another thing I think I'm looking at my notes. I think another thing that people think worry does is it actually keeps you safe, which it doesn't. If you're going to get it, you're going to get it. And you're going to get it because you're probably not listening to the precautions out there. So that is another thing. Another thing is, if you are scared, that is okay. Allow fear. But what I want you to do from that place, don't just stay in it and don't indulge it. I want you to know why you are afraid. And the best way to do this is to sit down and write everything out. Write all of your fears out. Like at the top of the paper, just say, I am afraid of blah, blah, blah. Write them all out. And then you want to objectively look at each one of them, and you can ask a number of questions. One of the questions is this 100% true all of the time? I guarantee you 90% of those thoughts, the answer to that question will be no. Also, just separate out the facts from your story. Fear lives in stories. Okay? Fear always creates this big, elaborate story. And the best way to start to kind of talk yourself down from that place of fear is to start separating out the facts from the opinions or from your story. And so what I want to do is give you some ways of dealing with these precautions and actually some tips to move forward with this. So the first precaution is stop excessive use of media. I already told you, just stop it. Just limit it. If you don't want to stop it completely, that's fine. That's completely that's your decision, and that's fine. But limit it to an hour a day. You do not need to have news channels on all the time. Stop looking to others to determine how you feel. Start taking ownership. Start saying, like, I want to feel this way. I want to think this way about this. Like, I want to be this. I want to take this time right now to start working on mind management, because that is a tool that you can take with you for the rest of your life, and it will change the way your life is. It will change everything. It will change your perspective on everything, and that is huge. Beware of scarcity thinking. Start thinking about abundance. Start with gratitudes. Gratitude and fear cannot live in the same place. They cannot be both in the same place. And this makes sense. Even when I was talking about how hope is the anticipation of God's goodness, and gratitude is just focusing on God's goodness in your life. So look around you. Say, I'm so thankful for my heat if you live in upstate New York like me. I'm so thankful for there's scientists that are working to fix this thing. And it's not me. And because if that's the case, like, we'd all be really screwed, because I have no desire or even, want to ever cure viruses. So we have people out there that's doing this. We have higher ups who are taking precautions for us. We're not the first country to be dealing with this. A number of other countries are ahead of us in this. And China, by the way, is starting to kind of go back to normal. So we can be thankful for that. So really just look at you, and I really want to challenge you is to look at areas to be thankful for specifically from this coronavirus. I think it's really interesting to look and see the silver lining on this. And by no means am I invalidating the people who have passed away from this. I think we can pray for their souls, and we can pray for their families, and anyone who is recovering from this. We pray for them, okay? But also, we don't need to be drawn into this panic anymore. The coronavirus of the mind. So know that worrying is just pretend to be important. So like the counter to that, I think I love this quote. It's worry is the misuse of your imagination. So how can you imagine things better when this whole thing is done? Or just imagine things right now. Start using your imagination for the good. Start looking for the good of this whole thing. Okay? And once again, like I said, I am not invalidating people who have passed away. But also keep in mind that people die every single day. Like I think it's the Benedictines or the Dominicans. I'm sorry if you know the answer to this, correct me in the comments below. But I think this is really fascinating. They always keep death. They have like a skull, or back in the day, they used to have like a skull on the pulpit of where the priest spoke, but also like in the middle of their dining room table, they'd have like this skull, because they would always be reflecting on death and the inevitability of death, and how they would be living their life in a different way if this was always facing us. And it's a really interesting exercise to take yourself through. So take all of this focus on death right now and actually start to say, how, go to your deathbed and actually say, like, what would I regret if I didn't do this? Okay. Another thing is, if you're scared, know that you're doing it. And I already kind of walked you through that exercise to write all of your fears down. And there's something that happens when you write everything down and you're looking at it and reading it, and you're kind of like objective about it. All of that panic and that narrative and that drama that's going on inside your mind, you now can actually process it appropriately. Our minds are not supposed to process things like stories all the time. We actually need to get them down on paper so that we can objectively look at them and critically look at them and actually say, like, is this even true 100% of the time? Like, is this impacting me right now? Is this even where I want to spend all of my mental energy on? That's a great question, and be deliberate about answering it. Don't take this as me sitting up here like condemning anyone who has done any of these things. I've done all of these things. And really what I'm saying to you is, just recently I realized I'm actually very calm because I've cut these things out. I've actually taken this precautionary measures against protecting my brain and my mind through this whole madness of things. I want to be able to come out on the other side of this and say, I grew through this time of hardship. And I contributed and I helped people through this time of hardship because I knew these tools of mind management. So that's it for today, guys. Thanks for sticking with me. I know this was kind of a longer video. Actually, it was a much longer video than normally than the kind that I do. But I think it's so important for us to know that mind management is key. And guys, I am a life coach. I am a mindset coach. So if you need help through this at Metanoia Catholic, if you have not received a one-on-one discovery call, a free discovery call, we offer those half-hour long free discovery calls on this. And right now, I think a lot of people are in need of mind management around this whole thing. And even if it isn't around the virus, it's all of the consequences from it. It's job, how am I going to feed my family, all of this stuff. So having mind management around this is huge, and it will change everything. It will change your perspective of the whole thing. You just got to know that it works. It really works. And I really wish peace and calm for all of you out there. And let's pray for all of the victims of the coronavirus right now. And let's not be victims of the coronavirus of our minds. All right. Thanks, guys. Reach out to metanoiacatholic.com if you want a free discovery call with me. All right. Thanks, guys. God bless. Bye.